Hello and welcome to this program series. This is March is Women's Month program series, and today I have joining me is Regina Carey. She is the founder and owner of Carey On LLC.
Yes.
You are a lifestyle coach. You provide empowerment opportunities, and you are an author.
Thank you. Yeah,
And you're located right here in Okemos.
I am.
So thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad to have you join us.
Thank
From
you.
a communications person to another communications person.
Right.
It's always great to have someone on talking about communications.
Yes.
So let's go back a little bit
Okay.
in time. We're going to go back away from today and what you have going on, because I know that you have a entrepreneur workshop coming up where you are a keynote speaker, and we will talk about that for a little bit.
Okay.
But first, how did you get started with Carey On?
You know, I think that my company unfolded as a result really of moving around the country. Following my husband and his professional work, as a teacher, I started out as a special ed teacher.
Okay.
So I got my degree in Ohio, but we moved right down to North Carolina and I started teaching for a while. But it evolved into going from, you know, a special ed classroom into having a chance to get my master's. So I went after that and had an opportunity to then teach teachers. Mm-hmm. And then we went to Wisconsin and I worked for the athletic department. I got to work with athletes with learning disabilities and other invisible disabilities. So attention deficit, anxiety, depression, PTSD. None of the athletes had that, but that's what I've moved into, is in the invisible disabilities. And then from there I came to Michigan, where I was with the College of Ed and the Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities. And then one day, a friend of mine asked me what I was doing with my creative energies, and I had no answer for her. And no one had really asked me that question ever. And so that was 3 years ago, and I sat down and wrote a proposal and started a workshop for women, and it grew from there. So just last year, I hung out my shingle for the first time and have a wonderful office in Okemos. I'm housed inside the Wellness Institute, which is right off Jolly Road.
Okay.
And I'm the only coach, but I'm in a suite of therapists, so I'm surrounded by wonderful people in that environment. But yeah, I mean, the next thing to the next thing, it unfolded in a great way, and it really has always been about expanding my reach and expanding my message. So it was great teaching, you know, young children, but then to get to the teachers, and then, I mean, my audiences and my interest grew every single time I would take the next leap.
Now, where did you grow up? Did you grow up around here?
Ohio, Northwestern Ohio.
Northwestern Ohio, okay. And what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Teacher.
A teacher.
Always, yeah.
So you've always wanted to be in this sort of field.
Right.
What led you, was your mom a teacher or anything like that, or anyone in your family, or?
No, I think I had one aunt who was a teacher, but I'm a Leo, and so I've always had those qualities of leadership, and when I was in school, I was always the one who would make sure everybody had their homework done, and I would help the teacher whenever I could, and I think I had a lot of energy. You know, it takes a lot of energy for me to sit still, but so I would get up and walk around and make sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing.
How much energy did it take to start your business?
You know, it's surprisingly easy to start a business. I mean, when you come down to I was always so afraid of the paperwork or what I had to do to do all the hoop jumping. That part was really easy. And in fact, with me today, I brought another application for a company that I'm going to run over to the licensing department right after we're done.
How exciting.
It really, what it does is it gives you, I mean, you have to have a lot of courage to say, yes, I'm going to do this, because it's a commitment to a nonstop way of life, really. Because once you have a business, it doesn't stop.
Do you have women come to you who want to take that leap of faith and they're looking for empowerment or looking for advice from you on how to make that step?
I think so. I think that more women come to workshops to answer some questions that they have, sort of self-exploration. And when we start that process and they're able to talk about their dreams and their visions and the possibilities, and to talk about that around a table with other women, it's like watching a fire grow. I mean, it's exciting to watch it unfold, and I think it unfolds as a result of the communication that happens around the idea. And then they see it as a possibility, and then they have a bunch of people saying, yes, that's a terrific idea, And it's very motivating. Yeah.
And you hold workshops and classes?
I do, yes. I've done the Define Yourself is one that I started, and that one is sort of the entry level about watching your language, your posture, kind of a head to toe thing. What are your thoughts?
Oh, geez, I'm starting to feel self-conscious right now.
But being open. I mean, we talk about being open.
Yeah.
I teach people to live like this: the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when women tell people that they're fine, that really was the thing that got me thinking. Women are better than fine. They're amazing, and they have so many wonderful gifts to share. It's time to get them thinking about it and moving in that direction. So,
how do you balance this? I know you have family. How do you balance this with family and everything else going on?
Well, one step at a time. I mean, I don't like the word balance necessarily because I don't believe that ever we could say, oh yeah, I'm equally balanced. I mean, it's like a teeter-totter or some other ginormous thing where when, the beautiful thing about owning your own business is you can give your attention when it's needed to a family member who's sick, or if you need to travel to do something, or you want to go away for a conference, or, I believe that the best thing is the flexibility and being able to go where I'm needed or go where my interests take me, and know that, I can be back at a moment's notice, or I can be there if my children need me, or, the grocery shopping does get put on the back burner often, but
well,
but
they have apps for that. You can have that delivered now. You don't even need to go.
Right.
Right. Same with clothes. You don't need to go. You can just order that.
Right. Click and point and click. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you wrote a book last fall, right? In 2017, you had a book that came out. It's an ebook.
Yes, called Make a Splash.
And
what I did was took really the most common issues that I work with people on in coaching, whether it's fear or overwhelm, procrastination, uncertainty, hopelessness. I mean, there are 10 different small chapters in it. And I remember when I was young, I had such a hard time reading a full book. Opening it start to finish. And even today, the way I listen to books is the Audible.
Okay.
While I'm driving. So this book is very digestible. It has short, inspirational pieces where if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can do this today, or I'm having a lot of anxiety, you could flip to the anxiety section and read a few ideas. And the Make a Splash piece is, I provide you with some suggestions, whether or not you'd like to make a pebble size move on the issue, a stone, or a boulder. So if you want to, let's say you're feeling overwhelmed by your home. It's a mess and you don't know where to start.
It is right now. My house is a mess right now.
A pebble size might be, you know what, all I'm going to do is clear off the kitchen table or the dining room table, which is always, that place that things stack up.
Yeah.
So I need to get movement on one area. A larger action, a stone, might be you know what, I'm going to dedicate 3 hours on Saturday and I'm going to get through the main level of the house, just so that when people come over, we know where to find things and things are clean. And then a larger one might be, you know what, I can't stand cleaning. It's not in my wheelhouse. It overwhelms me. I'm going to call and hire somebody to come in maybe once a month and do this intense cleaning for me so that I don't have to worry about that at all. And then that is a stressor that you've removed.
What have you found in your studies, in your research, through the teaching that you've done and working with college students that, you know, and students that you've applied mostly, do you think, in your book to help people?
I think that what I've learned is that people are ready at different times. So that's really why I've laid it out like, you know what, you might not be able to do the big thing right now, or you might not even be ready to hear all of this. Just take a piece of it. I have people in my workshops who take the, you know, one workshop right after another, because it might take until the fourth time that they hear the same message of empowerment or movement or releasing something, that they finally say, yeah, I'm ready, I get it.
And that doesn't surprise me, looking at how advertising is and messages and how often messages go out on social media and how many times they recommend for companies to get that message on Twitter or Facebook to get in front of people. We are so inundated with messages and you know, in the communication industry, we're constantly, you know, in our department, that's what we do, we're constantly communicating and we're trying to find new ways to get that message across, and sometimes, you know, in different varied forms, you know, because not everybody is really hearing the same message or able to retain it in the way that somebody else is able to retain it. So sometimes the message is different.
Right. And so that, I mean, I love that too about the business, because it ebbs and flows. If I get a creative idea, or I think maybe I ought to do it a little differently, ask a question this time instead of make a statement. You know, I can do that in multiple ways. There's so many ways, but yes, we're all vying for the, you know, to get people's attention. It takes a lot of creativity and effort.
What do you think the biggest hurdle has been with launching your business? Or did you say a year? You hung up your
For real.
for a year. Is there something that's been the biggest surprise to you, or the biggest hurdle that you didn't think maybe would have been?
Well, you know what? One of them is learning how to spell entrepreneur.
That is the hardest word. That is very hard.
Like, why didn't they make it easier?
Yeah.
But yes, to say it, to spell it, to but really, it's the sort of tripping over the paperwork. I mean, the keeping up with that business side, and in all honesty, because of the nature of my work, I think sometimes the biggest hurdle is walking the talk. You know, I mean, I might do this professionally. I also have to do this personally, and some days that's tougher than others. You know, but I hold to the belief I teach that which I must learn.
Do you feel like I'm the brand manager for the township, and it makes me think of having to be branded like all the time? Like you're always having to be on, this is the brand of my company, and so I need this to be the brand of my personal life, and it can be hard.
Right, but you know, I think the one beautiful thing about it is that I'm teaching people how to be authentic. So I believe that, you know, every time I go out, every time I talk with people, anytime I put writing out to share, it's really coming from who I am. I'm not, you know, pulling it out of books or anybody else. This is me, and if I go, you know, out in sweats, that's what I'm doing. You know, I never feel like I have to be anybody but who I am in the moment. But that's the, you know, that's part of all of this.
How important is this, do you think, for your children to see mom doing this, taking a leap of faith and in going out and having her own business?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think everybody, if there was one thing I wish I would have done sooner, it's learn business, you know, because eventually we all want to break out and do our own thing. I mean, I think that's the nature of being human and wanting to have a voice and make an impact and be remembered. And the funny thing is, the kids didn't even know what I did for the longest time. They would tell people I was a teacher, but they didn't, and I wasn't really teaching, you know, in a classroom or anything. But I almost love that they don't know exactly what I do, because it keeps them guessing.
Keeps them asking too.
But we do stress positive language and positive self-talk in the household, you know, and I think that they all have very good language. I think that they know how to speak their minds, which is, you know, can be challenging sometimes, but
important to know how to do.
They're sure of themselves.
That's good. My son's first grade teacher, Mrs. Lippy at Okemos.
Yeah.
The sign above her door to the classroom was "Love is spoken here," and she was a high encourager of positive reinforcement, positive talk, encouragement, and
Right.
our all-time favorite teacher is Mrs. Lippy for certain.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, my son learned a lot from her. So I know people are going to be learning a lot from you because you are a keynote speaker at LCC at a women's empowerment entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneur, yes.
It's a one-day conference.
Yes.
And it's coming up on March 9th.
Friday,
March 9th.
This Friday. There's still time to register. And I think the great thing about this conference, first of all, $50 for the day is amazing for the amount of information that is going to come out of this: marketing, finance, legal issues, and even, you know, whether you're thinking about it, whether you're in it, or whether you've been in it for a while and you're ready to grow it or take a new direction. I think this is a great place to be around other women who have common interests and common goals, and start talking about what it is you want to do, you know, and how to build. And so it will be, mine is going to be short but motivating, and we're going to dance. So if that...
We're going to dance?
Yes.
Oh, don't be scared.
No, absolutely not. But I think music has been a part of my life ever since I was young, and I pull that through almost everything I do. Anything
else you want to tell us?
Anything else?
Either about this event or...
Well, I am going to be out there more. I want you to look for more opportunities to get with me, to talk to me. I encourage people to reach out and email me, because I do respond. And
what's your website?
ReginaCarey.com.
ReginaCarey.com. Okay. And people can find you on Facebook. I just liked your fan page last week or 2 weeks ago after I discovered that you were here, and I'm so glad that I did.
Me too. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I think I hit them all. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you put some motivational things out there on Instagram? Wow.
Every day.
Good
Monday through Friday.
Good for you. Well, thank you so much. I know there's a lot of ladies that I know talk about, including myself, talk about having their own business or going out there and you know, what it is that they want and how to do it, and it can be a scary thing.
Absolutely.
And
it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, I'm sure that what you've done has maybe inspired some other women out there.
Yeah.
You know, to take that leap of faith and say, hey, I want to take a look at this.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to come out, and if not, reach out and, you know, find out where other opportunities are to network, because they're everywhere. And I think that's one of the best things we can do.
Well, thank you so much, Regina. I really appreciate you being on today for this March's Women's Month show series. Appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you watching at home.